Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check brought to you by BB. A reminder, as always, guys, there is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. Welcome back, guys. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. And I always like to joke, doing whatever you needed to do, right, to detox from the market. For some of you, that might have been more charts and more markets, but for the rest of you, welcome back to the charts. We've got a lot to talk about, even though we just came out of the weekend, right? It is a huge week in store for us. Ahead of us, I think we're about a week out from Jerome Powell, maybe a few more days than that, give or take. But I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Max and Chef Jackus. Welcome, guys. Before we can get started, before we can start answering the question of that is titled in the video, answer our thoughts on, of course, Jerome Powell speaking. I'm sure we've got some macro data later this week. It seems like we've got that all the time now, whereas we could kind of just ignore it in the past, but now we kind of have to pay attention after that whole Japanese flash crash took everybody off guard. But before we can start talking about all that, guys, I'm going to need you to smash the like button. It is Monday. The markets are green. Well, at least Bitcoin is green. Tech stocks are green. Smash that like button for us, and we will do our best to cover any and everything that can possibly happen during the markets this week. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of running through my watch list. It's kind of a nonchalant day thus far. I mean, I would say, Bitcoin's green, the NASDAQ is green, the S&P is green. But it is Monday where we're still kind of, I think, waiting to see the directionality for what this week has in store for us. I mean, one of the things that we were talking about on our calls with our subscribers earlier this morning is really the importance of these levels that Bitcoin, ETH, and also equities as well are currently residing in, right? We're trying to see higher lows form structurally across the board as we have kind of drilled back down to retest the sell-off that we had obviously at the beginning of August a few weeks ago. So contextually significant level, volume says it's a significant level, and of course the price action says so as well. What will we do here on a lower time frame? Of course, as we are about 2 months away from, I think we are almost exactly 2 months away from the presidential election. We have a presidential debate this week as well. I'm sure there will be no shortage of volatility in these markets, even though, right, we probably have about 8 or 9 days before Jerome Powell speaks. But that's enough for me, guys. I'd love to know kind of what we're thinking here on the charts, not just a lower time frame and a mid time frame, right? Because I think we're all kind of in the camp that we're trying to carve out a higher low here. We kind of have to carve out a higher low here on things like Bitcoin and Ethereum. But also, what are you guys kind of seeing over the next few weeks as well as we head into the presidential election, of course, and any impact that could have on the markets?
Chef, do you want to cook, or should I get out some of the frying pans and try to do it myself? What do you think?
I'll think of it if I cook today, because I cooked a lot last week.
You did.
Unexpectedly.
Yeah.
I mean, there were not enough likes. I just cooked for the people.
You were very
But
generous. You went to
Yeah.
the homeless shelter and you just cooked food for everybody. They didn't have to pay. It was super nice of you.
Basically. But this week they'll have to produce. Like, the exchange needs to be fair on both parts. So for now, I will only say lose this level and it's lights out. But hold this level. It's a decision time soon. Hold this level and it's all good.
Yeah. Some wise words from the chef. Well, we'll get to the likes.
Analyzer.
So real. So real.
The state of the market.
Dude, it's real, man. But it's been feeling that way for a long time. It's been feeling
The next move will be telling.
Unironically, it will be. But it's been feeling like that for a while, like every time we're like, oh, big week, need to hold this level, decision time soon. Oh, like big level, like we're below, we got to save it, big level. Like, oh, we're approaching supply, big level. Oh, big level. We got to hold here. It's just every level's a big level, but there is some truth to the longer we get here, the bigger the level becomes, or the longer the amount of time that we spend here, the more significant the level is. I will say, like, there's some stuff to be concerned about, but there's also, I would argue, some things to be somewhat optimistic about. And I don't really think you have a choice. If you own crypto, like, you have no choice but to be a believer in some of the more optimistic scenarios that we'll probably talk about today. Tommy mentioned it but didn't answer it. Crypto pump incoming is the title of today's show. We also have a new thumbnail. Hopefully you guys like it. Our man Z designed it. Shout out Z. But there's literally, because we've been here for so long, there's literally like 100 different ways to draw this range. I think this is probably the best way to look at it right here. Like, I'll literally get rid of the range, and I think the most fair way to do it is to literally draw a volume profile and just recognize, like, there's no other lines on here. This is value right here. This is value area low, value area high. So a majority of the price action, 70% of the price action has occurred basically between 60 and 70K. And we have some deviations, right? Like, that's, sell it all, buy it all, right? So right now we are kind of floating in no man's land, right? And the most important level on the chart is, in fact, 60K. You also, of course, have this beautiful daily breaker block right there. That's your level. Like, we can get a little bit lower and go like, okay, we need to, first we need to get above, let's just say like this region, right? We need to get above 57. Yeah, that's a good start. But really, like, higher time frame, what you need is, you need this level right here. You need back inside value. You need to flip this sort of daily supply region. And then I think you probably go, honestly, to all-time highs pretty quickly. But right now you're floating in no man's land, right? So there's another scenario where you could easily look at this and just go like, okay, this is also some daily supply, and we are floating in no man's land. There's not, it's not a super strong looking chart, right? Like, there's a lot of issues with this right here. And, you could certainly make the case for, if we are going to break down here, right, this is probably the level you're going to do it. You're probably not going to go too much higher than here, if you are going to break down. And then you'll probably fill in this entire inefficiency, and your 2024 yearly open is like, I don't know, it's like right around here, something like this. Like, you would probably do this, right? But here's the thing about it is, like, Bitcoin has a way of coming back from the dead, right? So, like, this shit, it looks terrible, right? Like, everybody's looking at this right now, and for good reason, being like, oh man, this is just a waterfall waiting to happen. Like, look at this. Like, we're just about to, coal world it, right? Like, everybody's looking at this. And it's so obvious it looks terrible. That's the issue that I have with it, is that when you get a really obvious, horrible looking pattern, it just can't be that easy, it can't. And it makes me think, I was talking to our community about it this morning. It reminds me of this pattern, right? Obviously different, right? The big difference is, like, this was a confirmed distribution. Like, you had a very textbook bull trap here. You had a break of structure, like, here. Let's go down a little bit lower. Like, this is the big difference, and we've talked about this, is you've had, it literally doesn't get cleaner than this in terms of, like, market structure and distributions. Like, this is a textbook. Like, people need to study this forever, because this is just beautiful. Like, here's your uptrend. It's amazing, right? And then bull trap, and then you break structure to the downside right here, and then you bounce into a complacency shoulder, and it's over. Like, it does not get any cleaner than this. And this is not to say that I wasn't fully deployed basically at that moment, right? It's easy to do in hindsight, but I'm just saying, like, this is a nice deviation. like right here, bull trap. And this was a pretty obvious coming out of this, right? The amount of people that I saw basically drawing this at the time, it looked like, here, I'll just rewind the chart. It looked like this. And everybody was like, okay, you had your deviation, your Wyckoff distribution, I believe. And now we're in a downtrend, and you're about to just have like the biggest head and shoulders rollover pattern literally of all time. I will see you back down here. This was like the previous cycle all-time high of like here. This was the previous cycle all-time high. I remember the charts, man. Everybody was drawing this shit right here. And why would you not? Like, it looked terrible. Like this looked awful, right? It literally looked like this was about to just completely like ruin everybody's life, bull market over, and then we try to run it back later. And I remember even Michael Burry posted something about this, like the highest of high time frames, head and shoulders patterns, right? And then Bitcoin basically just like came back from the dead. It has a way of doing that, right? So you get like a really obvious high time frame pattern, and Bitcoin just comes back from the dead. And I just can't help but kind of recognize that it feels so damn obvious, like how bad it looks right here. I know that's not super scientific, right? But it kind of feels like, in a somewhat similar light, in an optimistic fashion, right? You could maybe be doing something like this. Maybe. At least there's an attempt to do this, right? They are trying to do this. And then in the simplest of normie patterns, right? You could maybe look for something like this, right? A little compression or something like that. So I'm somewhat optimistic, right? Because I have to be. And also it just feels like it's so, yeah, like here's the thing. People are coming out on X being like, like Bitcoin looks terrible. Like we're going to 35K. And I'm like, do you think that's like profound, or like you're sharing something like that the world need? Like, yeah, everybody can look at this chart and like, yeah, it looks terrible. Like you didn't discover how ugly this chart looks. It's just so obvious, right? That's why I'm like, yeah, it looks terrible. We all know it looks terrible, right? Oh, can't find anything constructive. Like levels look lost, like, ooh, Bitcoin looks heavy. Yeah, it looks heavy. It looks heavy. It also looked super heavy over here. I still can't believe that Bitcoin came back from the dead right here. Like, that's unbelievable. That's literally unbelievable. I remember this and I was just like, yep, I'm going to just keep holding. But like, you know what? It looks terrible. And it came back from the dead.
That range was so terrible at the time too, because Bitcoin had bottomed, but all of your shit coins, including mine, were just like down only every day.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was not fun. But then you had alt season. Like this move up when Bitcoin came back from the dead was alt season. It was here's others dominance.
You kind of also had NFT summer preceding that that period, or at least like the rip. But the beginnings of NFT summer had kind of already kickstarted while Bitcoin was in that terrible range.
Yeah, very true. So yeah, like altcoins, this is others dominance, just getting destroyed.
Max,
yeah.
I remember from that 2021 range, bottoming range, is that like every single bear out there who was very vocal at 2022 bottom, but everyone was just shouting, new lows, but they were shouting it ever since July. And then the price went literally to make new all-time highs, and they just kept shouting, bear trap, I'm just super bearish. And then the bear market played out and they essentially ended up being heroes, but they were bearish all the way from there.
Jackus, you know what was the most common thing ever? It was this right here, man. The amount of charts that I saw at that time of when we broke out of this range, and everyone was like, oh, like here's your top and here's your shoulder. And then they were drawing like, this, no one seemed to think this was happening, right? Like I saw everyone being like, "Oh, this is your real complacency shoulder. It's over.
Yeah.
Negative prices."
And I mean, it could have been,
it could have been.
but
It could have been.
locally there, you still were at the support, and that's what I keep on saying. People, you do not get bearish until the support is lost, which is the same thing as now. Like you do not get bearish until this support is lost.
You can't, because I just, and I know we talked about this morning, but like I don't think you can like lose this level and not like, okay, people calling for like 44K. You might as well call for like 30K. I don't think you stop at 44K. That's just me. And if you guys disagree, tell me. But like I think if you go back down, like if this pattern fails here and you're down below here, all right, like I don't think you are gonna just like boop and then like, send it back up. I don't think it's gonna be a little like 10% drop. Like I think you're gonna do this, and I think you're gonna sit here at 48K and bounce to 50, and then I think you're gonna do this. Okay. So it's like you genuinely, like if you own crypto, like you have no choice but to believe in this pattern. Like there's no, tell me if I'm wrong. Tommy, you're making faces. Do you think that there's a chance?
No, I agree.
Okay.
I found the hyperbole of the statement funny.
Thank you.
No, I mean, you literally do need to hold this level because it's a right. We've been trading in I mean, we refer to them more blatantly as more commonly as ranges, but like places where we transact value for 6 months at a time and we break out or down from them at any point in Bitcoin's history. It's not a 15, 20% move usually. It's usually like, if it's to the downside, it's like a much larger move than that. And if it's to the upside, you're running multiples. So there's not really much in between, in my opinion. Like the next move will be 10 or 15%. I just don't think that that's likely when you have positional buildup of effectively 6 months within the same range.
This is how I would view it, Tommy. Is I would view it like we would do this, and we would like pause here, because there is some demand, and people would try, and then we would just we would just get stuck, and then we would go down there, That's how I view it.
Yeah.
Like it has to hold here. It has to hold here. Otherwise, you're just in a bear market, and this is like the worst cycle of all time. And like the Bitcoin halving is just doesn't matter anymore. But I know we're kind of talking about like the negative sides, right? But like I genuinely think like this is not to be the 25-year-old technical analyzer, but it's like big level, lose this level, it's lights out, not out of the woods yet. It's kind of a meme, but it's true.
I also don't think that we get, and I'm sorry for interrupting you, Max, but I don't really think that we get a 2022 style downtrend in equity markets either. Like the positioning is not really in place for the equity market to really do what it did in 2022, right? Where, I mean, think about the VIX, where it never really, I don't think it ever spiked above 35, maybe not even quite that high during the year 2022. We had a very controlled sell-off, and that made it longer, almost worse, because the trend was so arduous, and it made everybody think that it was literally over through not just price but also time. And I'm not really in the camp that markets are positioned in a way where you would see a long-term sell-off. And I say that because you have these tailwinds coming in over a longer period of time, right? We talked about the Treasury buying back bonds. We've talked about how positive and favorable elections typically are for liquidity in markets. So it feels more to me like a window of time here before the election where markets could show weakness, but not a period of time that could devolve into a broader downtrend, right? In the same way that 2022 was.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I'm sure that, Tommy, you watch the VIX closer than I do. But But it's like I feel like after you get like a big blowout, you know, like let's just mark them out, right? So like February of 2018, you know, something like this. Obviously COVID, right? And then we just had Japan liquidating itself right here. I feel like it'd be very atypical to see like another event like that right after. Usually you're gonna get like, you know, you'll get like a few more spikes and then like a vol crush and then like a spike and then a vol crush and then like, you know, then maybe then we have our event, you know, a while after, something like that. But I mean that would probably imply, you know, I don't know. I mean maybe it could just be like more choppy, you know, it could be something like this, right? Or like we don't really do too much, but like it just kind of like establishes a giant range up here. You know, like maybe we do something like this for a while. I don't know.
I could see something like that. Like for example, the S&P looks a lot better. Let me actually rephrase this, because this is actually something that we've talked about on the Discord before the calls. Like look at the way that the S&P has had downtrends since 2008. With the exception of 2022, every move down happened like in the blink of an eye. They're not usually like, which is funny because you would expect a healthy market would tell you like, okay, you're probably, when the fun is over, you're going to see a longer drawn out downtrend, just because time is important for markets to be able to digest higher prices. And what we see in equity markets is the opposite. You know, in 2022, you had, like I said, the very controlled sell-off. Obviously, the index lost a lot in value, but it was never really an out of control downtrend at any point in time. But the flip side of that is, you know, post 2008 into 2022, every single move down occurs within the period of a few days. So I think that's going to be the same. Like if you're going to have moves down on the index, and probably crypto as well, it's going to look like that. You know, quick moves down, but ultimately you look at the higher time frame on it's rising up because you have those liquidity tailwinds coming in, and as a part of a broader liquidity cycle that I do think that we're still in, by the way. You know, the liquidity cycle is not supposed to top until like 2027, 2028 even, and it's not even 2025 yet. So fluctuations can occur, obviously, but say that again.
So super cycle.
Super cycle, yeah. This is what I've been saying.
I know. I just like to hear you say it.
Super cycle.
Super cycle.
Super cycle. Well,
I've seen some smart people I know refer to where we are currently as kind of akin to like 1995, 1994 even, rather than, you know, people want to compare it to like another 2008. I just don't really think that I don't really think that downside in the market is geared towards a multi-year downtrend right now.
So are you thinking literally like this, Tommy? Like over here? Or like somewhere in this region?
So yeah, somewhere before like the true.
This is 95 right here. This is 95.
I mean, could be earlier than that too. Like, don't even get me wrong.
Like
I think we underestimate how much growth can still occur within the tech sector.
Well, see, here's the thing: is in 2000 at like the peak of the .com bubble, and we're in log mode. Let's go back to linear mode, okay? Like forward looking, like I'm pretty sure that most companies, or like the NASDAQ or S&P 500 as an average, the average earnings multiple was at like 70 or 80 or something like that. Like most companies were trading at like 70 or 80 times their earnings, which is crazy, right? I'm pretty sure right now it's like 20 to 25 or something like that. I don't watch as closely as I should. I'm mostly crypto, but like when you want to talk about like a bubble, you know, if you want to talk about like things trading at a premium, we're not even close to what happened in 2000. And I'm not saying we need to have a .com bubble. Like the internet is a once in 100-year technology. And I guess you could argue maybe AI has that potential. I don't know. Maybe crypto is that potential. I also don't know. We'll see. But it's very difficult to make an argument based on the past few decades of data and say that like we are as overextended as we have been pre-recessions right now, because that's just not true, right? It's just genuinely not true. Objectively false.
The only problem I have right now is Lady of Scam calling for the biggest bull run ever.
The what?
You say that?
The Lady of Scam calling for the biggest bull run ever. But apart from that, all good.
You know what this kind of feels like to me? Like, I don't know. Something like this, honestly.
Could be.
I just don't know about COVID, right? Like, it's so hard. This just throws so many curveballs at me because I'm like, what? Because, like, you want to use recent price action to kind of like model what might happen in the future. But it's just so hard to like, it's just so hard to work around COVID because you're like, that just, you can't plan for that again. Like, maybe it would have just been like this, you know, just normal pullback, right? And you would have done something like this. I don't know. It's so tough. It's so tough with COVID. I feel like it would have been like this. We just covered up. But, and by the way, this right here, the reason I'm picking this is you look at the Fed funds rate and it's like we were basically like, here was cuts right here, you know? So we kind of just did like a grind up after cuts. I'm like, maybe cuts are actually maybe cuts are bullish, you know?
Cuts are bullish.
No,
Longer
Jackus,
term.
haven't you seen all of the Twitter accounts recently? Whenever the Fed starts cutting, the markets instantly go into a 4-year recession. Did you not see? You must not follow the smart accounts then, because those.
No,
I'll show you, Jackus. Please allow me to show you.
but
You must not know.
Max, we always keep on learning, and I still have so much to learn from these guys.
I think it's the opposite, Jackus. I think they have a lot to learn from you. But Jackus, look here. I'm gonna teach you what they've taught me. Okay, Fed starts cutting, multi-year recession, and the Fed starts cutting, and we have a multi-year recession. Okay, and then the Fed starts cutting, and we didn't really go on to go much lower, but still, what we've been in right here, this, even though we've been moving up a lot, Jackus, from here. We've been in a recession for the last 90%, if you didn't know that, Jackus. So I would just like to teach you what a recession is now. So what we're about to see on the 18th is we're about to see cuts right here. And obviously, cheaper money is recessionary, Jackus. So I hope we learned something today. It's a guarantee. It's a lock.
Pack your bags, guys. Pack your bags. And leave crypto forever.
This asset class has failed. Nobody wants to own crypto.
I think when you went Max,
online poker, right? Sorry, Jackus.
Max, when you mentioned that like internet is one of a century innovation, I would tend to agree. And then you asked like, I don't know what's next. Maybe that's like AI, maybe that's crypto, right? I don't know if like I think it, I mean, it's hard obviously to say that, and we know that internet was that one in a century. I think I can think of a future, you know, where truly Bitcoin is like basically the internet just for the way we exchange value, right? And I could see a scenario where like you really in the future you have this very easy to use interconnected sort of internet of value. And I don't want to like be this guy who just uses like the buzzwords, but I could realistically see this, right? Because back in the internet day, internet was very hard to use. It's nothing compared to what it is today, where you have everything at the blink of a few buttons, clicks, right? Everything is easy and so forth. But like, I could see us exchanging the value the same way, where, and I do not know like the technological solutions to it, right? Like, I'm not that guy. I'm the one who tried to seize the value in those things. But like, I could see how you easily swap, I don't know, like one of your NFTs, which you use in game, for, I don't know, like you will be very quickly able to flip that for, I don't know, television that you buy at your local store. Like, the liquidity is going to be there big time, and it's all gonna somehow connect at the backbone. So again, I do not know, like, I'm still shaping this opinion in the back of my mind, but I think that the way things work nowadays, where like, if you know, Max, that if you try to send me money, right, it's just pain. Like, you
It
have
is, and
to
I
use,
send you money every week, and it's terrible, man. It's so inefficient. They take fees like crazy. It's
that
horrible.
they take insane fees. It
Yeah.
takes time. Then I have to convert to my currency. Then I have to send it to Checkpay. And if I want to send it else, it's like there is so many intermediaries. It all takes so much fees, so much time. And I think, like, when I speak of this, right, I think in the future, the exchange of value is just going to be very smooth, very quick, and very easy to use. Like, you will just like have only few buttons to click, or just tap things on your phone. It's just gonna, do Face ID, and it's just going to be super quick. You will not have to go through all this pain. And that's how I like see the big innovation of the future, where it's really digitally market driven, therefore very efficient. So that to me could be the big thing. And regarding AI, and I think these two will be kind of connected to some degree as well. Like, you might have like a AI token of its own, and so forth. Again, still, all of this is shaping out as we go. But like, just today, and I will have to show this to and speak more about in the Discord for the guys, but I've seen an AI generated trailer for Silmarillion, which I'm not sure you US guys will know about, but I assume you know J.R.R. Tolkien, right? Who wrote Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
So Silmarillion is like the age before the Lord of the Rings. It's like the first age. Doesn't matter. But like, since Amazon is producing the Rings of Power right now, and there is just so much pain around it, watching it, right? Some guys just said like, all right, I'm gonna make an AI generated trailer. And I mean, it's looking so damn good. And there are like zero real actors. I mean, they used Henry Cavill's face for one of the actors. The AI generated that, and it's looking like real. It looks so good, and I was amazed. And these are very early days, right? And so what I see in the future is, for example, the movie area completely shaping up. And the same way we used legacy newspapers or television in the past, where you had like a few major television channels, and then those guys just controlled who they invited, who was able to speak, what were the questions asked, and all of that, right? Like they control the flow of information. Nowadays, with internet, and obviously we still like have the struggles of being on few centralized platforms, which can to some degree decide if they like our content or not, and help the algo push it or not, which, by the way, you guys should help with the algo by pressing the like button.
Yeah, guys,
Just,
you need to start panic
start
liking. You need to start panic liking.
You do. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, it led everyone to produce suddenly their own content. Like everyone is now a newspaper channel in a way. Whoever wants to be, they are, right? People just like and subscribe to those people who have something to say. And this was not able to be the thing of the past. And suddenly, what I think is going to happen, and like this trailer, I highly recommend to look it up. The Silmarillion teaser trailer, AI generated, right? What it created just stuck me. I was like, hey, I can see a future where everyone will just fully let their creativity go, and they will just type into this AI basically what they want. Obviously, they'll have to use the AI as a tool. And by the way, AI is not like a, like a Terminator artificial intelligence is just going to gain knowledge and kill us all. No, it's just a tool, right? It's just going
Are
to
you
like
sure about that, Jack? Yes.
yeah, I think I am, man. So because nobody knows what's conscious, so we still have a big problem. But that is another topic. But just this AI tool, like as a tool for these videos, right? What I can see is like people now, instead of having few studios who create movies, just like back in the day, we had few television channels who control the flow of information. I do see now everyone kind of creating their own movies, and I think the way we will produce content, people will produce content, is just going to be exceptional, and this will be the rise of new productivity growth. Like it was very hard in the past to create movies, just like before it was very hard to send information. I do believe in this new era of AI and like exchange of value. It will be very smooth to send value, exchange value through like BTC and all the quote unquote Web3. You can laugh at it what you want. And the same way with like the AI movies, whatever it is, right? So I think that is going to be huge. It's gonna
Jackus, I feel like the one really big benefit to the increase in productivity and just general efficiency is, I mean, this is a bad thing too, is we may see a lot of people lose their jobs to AI, right? If you're talking about like this new world, right? You could see publicly traded companies who typically one of their biggest expenses, like on their, their line item expenses, is going to be payroll, right? It's paying these executives, these high level creatives, engineers, whatever, and that all might just go to AI, and if you want to talk about like a real super cycle or something that could parallel the performance of the S&P 500, it might be driven not because AI is like that much better than people right now. Eventually it will be. But it's simply because it's cheaper than people and it can replace them and do the exact same thing. So you might see these companies' margins go through the roof, and you see an S&P 500 bubble, not because revenue's increasing, but because expenses are decreasing and revenue is just, I mean, your net revenue is just going through the ceiling because people are able to basically, I mean, you just don't need people anymore. So I don't know. I see the scenario for it, right? Like I see what AI can do. Like for BB Wealth Management, we had a couple lawyers, really sharp guys, set it up for us. And I was just asking them about ChatGPT, and they were like, "Oh yeah, no, we put everything through ChatGPT." And I'm just like, I mean, like they know like we're cool. I'm asking them because I don't really care. Like I don't care if they use it. I feel like a lot of their older clients would be like very disturbed to hear that. But they were open with me. They're like, yeah, we put every single document through ChatGPT. Like I use it every single hour of the day. And I was asking them about like, if you were a 23-year-old law student right now, would you be concerned about it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I said, are you not worried about it? And they're like, no, we're far enough along in our careers where it doesn't, there's stuff for us. But if you're new, he's like, your job, like you don't have a job, you know, like it is not, there's not an incentive to hire you, you know, like we just don't need you. So
I mean, one of the most important skills for young people in this new age will be adaptability, because in the past you were able to like become a smith and you were able to be that profession for your whole life. Recently, you know, you learn something and in 10 years it's obsolete. So obviously adaptability is going to be a huge thing. But coming back to that AI discussion taking jobs, I think that is absolutely going to happen. But I understand, like every single time in history, people had fear around it. So back in the day, and I'm talking like 200 years ago, people were coming in and saying like, oh, hey, that robot that is, you know, like, I don't know, doing shoes or something, it's gonna take my jobs. And do you know what people did? They smashed those robots in those factories because they were worried it's gonna take their jobs. But do you know what's the reality, Max and Tommy? It's that the unemployment nowadays is lower than it was back in those days, and there are actually more jobs available than back in those days. And what actually happens is that the old jobs, uh, they diminish, and they they are not they are not wanted anymore. They are not needed because we found a new efficient way to do this. Did you guys know that, like, I don't know, like, and I do not know exactly what the year was, but let's say 100, 200 years ago, at some point, there was about 90% of the population working on the fields, just harvesting food. Did you know that? And do you know, guys, just guess, what is that number today? It was 90% of the world's population working on a field trying to get food, right? Do you know what percentage of the population it is today?
no,
20.
a lot less, probably
3%.
Wow, it was
because
way
it's
off.
just
3%.
it's all it's machines now. Like, why would
Yeah,
you? Yeah, it's not people like
I know.
walking through the field. It's these giant industrial tractors, you know, like
Yes.
yeah.
But do you know what I'm trying to say? Would you want people, and people were like worried, oh my God, this machine is going to take away my job. But what actually happened, right? We got so efficient at harvesting food that nowadays we only need 3% of the world population to work there. And instead, we can focus on dominating other fields of our lives to improve our life quality instead, right? So we don't, like, if you were thinking in a way, oh my God, technology is taking away the jobs, right? You would basically send everyone nowadays back on the fields to work insanely hard and just be very, you know, sorry, I do not know the English word, but like it would be really hard for them to, or like it makes no sense to just send 90% of the population back on the field, basically, right? So it was a good decision for this to happen. And so what I'm trying to say is that nowadays it's the same principle, just different example. And people are also afraid that like technology is going to take away their jobs, and it's true, but it's not for the bad, because new jobs will be created, right? And someone will get paid just for creating a movie using AI, and someone will get paid for that. Like someone will use his creativity to create a movie
Okay,
on the
look at
internet
this right here. This is
and
our
sell it to
man Z.
people.
This is our graphic designer at BB. Okay, this
Yes.
man uses AI to make our graphics. I could
Yeah.
learn how to use AI and figure out how to do it. I don't want to. He's better. He's creative. I'm not. Z can use
Yeah.
AI. Okay, it's that simple. He's a prime example of what we're talking about here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, he actually knows how to do the design himself, but he's really, really freaking good at using these new tools to better what he's already good at, right? That's simply what you have to do. Is you have to learn to partner with the machine, right? You need to partner with the new equipment. It's that simple. Become the best prompter at AI. Tommy, speak. You were about to say something.
Max, are you gonna get the Neuralink then when it comes out?
Nah, dude, I need to make it before that, so I don't have to. If I haven't made it by the time Neuralink is out, then just whatever, man. I messed up. I need to make it before I need to partner with the machine. That's the thing.
No, but I agree with y'all's points. It's better, I think, to have an optimistic outlook as far as like the adaptability of the global workforce, because that's, as Jackus was pointing out, what's always happened. Like people, unless they have no incentive to continue to improve or like to, I guess, repackage, redo their skills, whatever verbiage you want to use, they're probably going to have like some level of adaptability to new technology, especially newer generations, as we're already seeing. So yeah, I don't think that AI will take away some jobs, but as always with anything, the fact that AI is becoming as big of a thing as it is just tells you there's going to be a lot of opportunity in AI specifically, and AI related jobs. So yeah, I wouldn't fade the adaptability of humans over multiple centuries. I mean, how long have okay, I'll ask somebody who doesn't necessarily have the same faith in things like space and dinosaurs as me, but
Tucker.
how long have humans been walking the earth, Max, and Tucker, if you're watching?
Humans been walking the earth.
Yeah, I mean, and they've had to have adaptable roles within society to be able to
I mean, if
survive.
you want to go based off of the scientific I don't know, the scientific explanation, I mean, where do you want to mark it? Like from which monkey did we evolve from? So many different, like, you know, it's like every year there's a new like 30,000-year-old monkey skeleton that's dug up and they're like, this is an early human. I don't know. I have no idea, man. Somewhere between 100,000 and 2,000. That's what I know.
Such a long time we don't even know. So I wouldn't be fading that.
Dude, I don't even know what Tucker's talking about now, but he just had a comment here. I don't know what this means, but study primordial ooze, brev.
Is it boost?
Tucker, you might need to that's all right. We'll leave it at that. You can explain if you would like. I don't know, man. I don't know if I fully believe that every monkey skeleton they dig up is like an early human, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Did you guys know that mammoths were still living when they built the ancient pyramids in Egypt?
That's pretty interesting.
I didn't know that. You ever seen the movie Ice Age?
Yeah,
Do you like it?
of course.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
Manny, he's a beast, man.
You just gotta have fun, man.
Study Manny.
Yeah, study Manny.
Manny, Diego, and Sid. Those are the names.
I haven't seen that in years, and it's crazy that it came out so long ago. Actually, like think about how quick time flies. Wait, let me actually see. Oh my god! Do you know, guys, when it came out? Don't look it up. Yes,
the first Ice Age? I don't know. 2004. 2002.
2002.
All right.
That's 22 years ago. Oh my god!
That's
I thought
crazy.
it was like I was thinking like, was it 10 years ago?
Dude, we are
22.
getting
Oh my
old, man. We are getting so old. Like I have a
obsolete.
kid now, man. He's like running around, like he can kind of talk a little bit. Like I'm genuinely like old. Like I'm probably like I probably have liver spots, man. Like I'm just a geezer. We are old, man. We are not like cool and young anymore. Like,
Can you imagine when he is going to be like, okay, boomer?
dude, he's you know what I was saying to my wife the other day is like I was saying to my wife, I was like, I love this because our son thinks that like I'm really cool right now, and one day I'm gonna wake up and he's just gonna like want nothing to do with me. And I'm gonna be like, I'm just
Yeah.
old, you know. But like he thinks I'm really cool right now, so it's fine. We're
All
old,
right.
man. We're old.
Let,
We're so old.
let's keep it that way.
All right. What do you guys think about this fractal? I made this a while ago, but I think this needs to be observed. I think it needs to be studied. I think it needs to be put into a museum next to a T-Rex and a woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
I think it's good, man. I think these fractals will play. I think Bitcoin's just lagging everything right now.
Basically.
I
Hard to
just know
argue.
I have a comment to make about the dinosaur.
I have a problem, Max. I have a problem whether this is left or right curve. I know it's not mid curve, but it's left or right curve, and I do not know. Maybe they connect.
Dude, Tucker's just gonna pop on the market check. He's just gonna like show up here. He's not on the schedule today. He's just gonna show up and just start talking about T-Rexes and stuff. Sorry, Tucker. Sorry for dinosaur LARPing, brother. We don't mean to upset you. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm less concerned with like left curve versus right curve and more just like obviously this fractal for gold goes back to 2011 and just broke out now. Like it's very expedited. I'm more just concerned with like this is how the fractal starts and ends. Like this is like a bear market to an accumulation to a bull market fractal, you know, and we haven't had our real breakout yet for Bitcoin. Obviously, the Nvidia fractal is much shorter time frame, but it just goes to show like you can put a fractal on any time frame. It doesn't matter at all, right? The point is like we are at that pause before shit gets wild, in my opinion.
Can you see that inverted head and shoulders sort of on Nvidia at the bottom? Like, I actually do not remember. Not many people talked about like Nvidia. Yeah, not many people talked about Nvidia back then. I mean, everyone started to talk about it when it started to like. I do believe like after that earnings gap, maybe that's like when everyone really started to talk about it.
Yeah.
But like anyone that was talking about it back then, I bet that they were like, "Oh, this is another failed shoulder, and we are going so much lower, right?" And then you just look back and you're like, inverted head and shoulders, man. Support.
Yeah. Tommy, what do you think about this fractal?
I mean, I'm kind of in two camps with it, right? Like this is either the equivalent range that both had near all-time highs, or I guess that all three had near all-time highs, or Bitcoin up to this point has simply lagged behind Nvidia. And I would point to the yellow box you have highlighted on Bitcoin being the same as Nvidia's gray box, if that makes sense, for kind of like what that would look like visually. So I'm kind of torn on what to think with this. Like it could be that Bitcoin is lagging behind things like gold and Nvidia, consolidating at all-time high. And there are, as I've said in the past, a lot of big tech equity charts that are kind of doing the same thing. Now, the flip side of that too is, are they lagging something like Nvidia, which has been the cycle's biggest outperformer thus far off the bottom? And there are already a lot of structural similarities between Bitcoin and Nvidia. It's kind of a difficult spot, but I can see the arguments for both. I feel like it's one of those things where we look back in a few weeks and a few months, and it's probably obvious which one is the case. But right now, I'm kind of on the fence.
No, it makes sense. I mean, we know that Bitcoin typically lags Nvidia, right? Because of this Bitcoin Nvidia chart, which we've spent so much time talking about over the past year. Like, when will this thing bottom and bubble again, right? So it's like it is pretty, at least based on historical patterns. Maybe it's not the same anymore, but Bitcoin does pump after Nvidia, right? Like that's what this chart tells us. And for those watching that don't know what this is just Bitcoin divided by Nvidia. So when this chart moves up, Bitcoin's outperforming Nvidia. When it moves down, Nvidia is outperforming Bitcoin. And it likes to just do this long, like just FU pattern, you know, like over and over and over again. Guys, start panic liking the stream. I'm about to pull up soybeans.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is bad, man. This is really, really bad. I don't even know what to say at this point. Like, I might just
Wait.
literally, I might just end the stream right here. I might not even ask for likes. I feel so insulted, because the conversation has been so good today. Start panic liking, guys. Start panic liking. But like, here's, like, let's look at when the Bitcoin Nvidia pair really starts moving. Like, I would say, like, maybe here, kind of depends on where you want to count it as like really starting to move. But, and I guess in 2019 it had like a big rally too, right? But that was kind of weird, 2019 was just weird. Like 2019 into 2020 with COVID. Like, I honestly I see again,
Max,
like, yeah,
I have a request right now. Can
that'll be,
you
you need a
drop
super chat then, Jackus. I need you to super chat if you want me to chart something for you. So
Actually, I need people to go above certain like threshold before we do this.
guys, it's time.
Soybean.
Is it soybean time?
We haven't had soybeans on for a while.
I know, it's been a while. I just wanted to cook, man. I just wanted to cook. That's it.
Let him cook.
Let him cook.
I think this
But-
pair is bottom though, for the record. Like Bitcoin, Nvidia, if we're not at like a bottom, maybe you wick it, whatever. I mean, the pair trades between something like Bitcoin and Nvidia are never going to be exact. Like if you're trading it like a shitcoin, for example. But I do think this pair is at a bottom, relatively speaking. And as far as like when I think it's going to start trending up, I think 2025 you start to see a more sustainable uptrend on Bitcoin against Nvidia. You probably see its first move off the bottom before the end of the year, but 2025, in my opinion, in 2026, you'll definitely see Bitcoin trend higher against Nvidia.
It should be soon, man. Even if it's not like a crazy parabola or whatever, like, you should see this pair bottom in theory.
You read that comment, Max?
Joke's on you guys. I've become a profitable soybean euro scalper. See that? You're welcome. You can thank Tucker for that one. Max's jacket looks expensive. He should probably sell it to buy more Andy. This is a maybe $70 or $80 Lululemon jacket that
Max,
my wife got me
Max.
4 years ago.
That's alpha. Lulu is alpha.
I have a question. I have a question for you. How many jackets are you wearing?
Just one.
Are you wearing more than one jacket? Are you all in on the jacket?
Oh, Michael. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah, I'm all in on this jacket and I'm all in on this shirt and I'm using one microphone and I've got one monitor and one camera. And
He's not mentioning that his monitor is like the size of the interstate.
yeah, it's literally unbelievable, man. It's a 49-inch curved Dell monitor. It's unreal.
I
Yeah,
see
that's
your
cool.
eyes going left and right.
Yeah, it's
You're
like a
like-
country mile to get to the other side of my screen.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're just going to check the likes real quick. I really don't want to go to the soybean chart. All right, 258 likes. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'll give it to you guys. That's
pretty
not
good,
bad.
guys.
That's not bad.
Not enough for me to cook, but all right.
Oh, guys,
Max.
you want Jackus to cook. Like, now I'm mad.
They
I
don't.
want him to cook.
No, they don't.
Now I'm pissed off, okay?
They
Now I'm
don't.
pissed. I need 300 likes because when we get to 300 likes, Jackus will cook. Like, that's 300 is good, okay? Because we now stream on Twitter as well, so it's like a lot of the audience is there. But like, if you're on YouTube, like, just hammer that like button. Just pull your phone out of your pocket. You got headphones in at work. Wait for your manager to go to the bathroom, take it out, hit that like button. They won't catch you. Jackus is going to cook. You want to hear Jackus cook. Now I'm angry because when I don't get to eat Jackus's food, my stomach starts grumbling. And when my stomach starts grumbling, I'm hangry. When I'm hangry, then I'm angry. When I'm angry, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I do need to pull the soybean chart up, man.
I'll be honest, Max. I don't love the look of the Lululemon chart.
All right, we're going to look up
Max.
Lulu. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oof.
Never mind.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad.
What the hell is this, man? This is like
It kind of looks like the Bitcoin double top, doesn't it?
Dude, that just looks like it looks like they're going out of business, man. I kind of want to buy some down here. Like it's over. It either bounces here or it's over. Like it's good. What's wrong with Lulu, man? Like they're good company. I thought people liked
I'll
their stuff.
single-handedly keep them in business. Don't worry.
Can you check the 1 weekly RSI on that thing? Bro.
I mean, this has got to be deep value, man. Look at this. In recent years,
It's probably the lowest it's ever been.
I mean, you have to be. I might buy some fucking here, honestly. I don't really have money to even trade stocks right now. I'm like so overly invested in crypto. It's outrageous, but this is so low. Like, what happened here, man? Why are they so cooked?
I would wait for like final sweep.
One last sweep, Jack. Dude, I've grown to hate when people say, like, everyone's just like, one last sweep of the low, one more sweep, one more sweep. Like, why don't you just bid already, you know? Oh my gosh. All right, here's what we need to do with Lulu. Guys, run these likes up. Let's go. This is such a textbook distribution, man. If Lars is watching right now, I bet Lars would love this chart, man. Just a little, it's like his Wyckoff schematic, you know. It's like this thing right here. So like 1, 2, 3, and then you get like your, break of structure right here. And then just ogre right here. He would have loved this. He would appreciate this right here. He would go like this. That's what he would have done. That really is clean, though.
Hindsight, Euroscalpor. I think that RR is too big, Max. You need to make it bigger. Sorry, that too low. You need to make it bigger. Yeah.
How about this?
Basically.
That's pretty good.
And now you need to put it like this. And no. You need to put the take profit a little lower and say that you enter this position, right? Like listen,
right
guys, I'm just trailing this super profitable short, and no worries, I didn't post this entry, but I'm trailing this, right?
Jack, but you are a Euro scalper. You live in Europe. You hit $200 trades every day.
I'm just built different.
Here, this is it. Here, this is it right here. Right there. This is it. This is the trade.
Imagine buying that up candle like, oh, breakout, and then the next day wake up,
It reminds me of when BNB hit price discovery and everybody started longing it. Now, if you look at the chart, it's the most savage fake out ever.
Yeah.
BNB.
In hindsight, the most brutal fake out I think I've ever seen.
But you know what I like about BNB? So obviously it's super, super manipulated, right? Like this thing is a monster. The fact that it didn't break down from its bull market range low, and it's like one of the only tickers in crypto that didn't. Talk about price support. This thing, yes, it trades like a scam. If you just pack some spot bags of BNB, it's probably one of the better long-term investments in crypto you can make, because they will not let this thing go down. Like, they hold this thing up by whatever means necessary, and that has become overwhelmingly clear to me.
Bruv, if BNB just deep dived lower like FTX, crypto would not exist today, probably.
Yeah.
Well, especially when you chart when the FDUSD pair came about.
True.
I'm sure that they played a bit of a role in boosting us up, but that's a feature, not a bug, as we always say. But I mean,
As you
space
say, Tommy, bullish on scam.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Price
secret
goes
ingredient.
up more when they're scammed. It's kind of a sad reality, at least for altcoins, but that's just yeah.
I mean, that's horrible, man. Like, I know somebody bought that and was like so excited for $1,000 BNB and just got destroyed, man. Just destroyed, you know?
He literally bought my bags, though, Max.
He did. He did buy your bags. Many such cases of Jackus forcing you to buy his bags at the top. He's just good, man. He's built different. He Euro scalps, you know? He Euro scalps.
Is it weird? I'm actually interested in buying BNB. Like, I know everybody wants to talk about meme coins and Sol, but Tucker. I think it was me, Tucker, and Louis were charting BNB Sol, and it is floored, guys. I mean, that pair is absolutely floored, which makes me think, for one, not only will BNB outperform Sol here in the short term, but it might be a better hold here over the next few years as well, which most people don't, at least from like this juncture, right? Because Sol's already run up a lot. Nobody's talking badly about Solana, but it is already up. What? I mean, it's down probably 30 or 40% from the local highs and still up 10 to 12x from cycle bottom. So Sol's up a lot. BNB has a lot of room to grow, given that you have CZ coming out of prison. And I mean, I know he's not allowed to run Binance, but he still holds probably
not allowed to run Binance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like he's not still running Binance right now.
He runs Binance.
Yeah.
I kind of like this one. Not quite yet. I want to see a bit more price action develop on it, but BNB could be my replacement bag for something like Ethereum, which probably makes some people upset, but I have more faith in BNB than I do ETH just at the moment as like an alternative to Bitcoin.
I actually agree with you.
I bought BNB actually on this dip, but I do it mainly because we Euro scalpers can actually be on Binance. I suppose it's harder for you, like I don't know, like if I were buying an exchange token, if I was not able to be on that exchange.
Yeah, that's the problem for us, is like I would buy spot BNB, but I would literally never use Binance chain. You know, like that's why Sol does well, man. Cause like everyone, I don't actually like it or do it, but like people love the shit coin on Sol. Like I don't really see the same allegiance for BNB. Not that
I was kind of just about to say, Max, Sol shitcoining blew up this cycle, but let's not forget how big Binance Smart Chain was last cycle with Asia, and GCR has talked about it. Obviously, we all know that eventually China is going to print. There's going to be QE coming in the Asia markets. That's kind of something that I was thinking about here kind of recently, like, if Asia gets its own like UBI, because I think UBI will ultimately be kind of like the framework for what creates the meme coin super cycle on a broader scale. But like, if Asia gets that first, what are the odds we see that manifested on Binance Smart Chain before we see it manifested on Solana? I think the odds are higher than people might give it credit to, because Binance Smart Chain remained active for a lot longer than mainstream opinion would give it credit for back in 2021. It was, the network activity was higher than a lot of the L1s during the fall of 2021, even though nobody was really talking about BNB because the price had already topped.
Okay, you might be right. I'm probably not objectively looking at it. Let's look at it against Sol, like you were talking. So you said the pair you think is bottomed?
Oh, it's floored.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cooked, but it's floored, right?
It could
Hmm.
just be like Bitcoin dominance, right? Where the bounces get smaller and smaller, but
I mean,
Lots of
interesting.
other major pairs look like this against Sol. So that makes me question if Sol is going to widely underperform everything from here.
I mean, this is your area, right? Like objectively, like this is your region. Like you are somewhere in here, you know? And if you are going to get another BNB pump, even if it doesn't make a new high, right? Like, well, hang on. I mean, that's really interesting, right? Like that's a big level. Big level.
Check level.
I mean, I could see this, right? Like, why not? Like, why would it not, you know? Yeah, give me that. Why not? That's a big move too, because like Sol could still go to 600, $700 or something. And if this pair goes up 500% in theory back to range high, which is BNB Sol. So Sol would go up like 5x, and then BNB would go up, what's this, 4 times more? So BNB could go up 20x. Is that crazy to think? Is that crazy? Or Sol just dramatically underperforms and, you know.
I don't think it's crazy at all, Max, honestly. Like I think BNB will surprise people as far as where it is trading in a few years because everybody wants to hit these meme coins. They want to hit beta to Bitcoin, beta to ETH. Meanwhile, BNB and shout out to Jackus because he absolutely nailed this one off the lows. But I mean, how many altcoins are, for one, they underperform BNB on the way up until it relative it locally topped, but also two, how many altcoins look better than BNB right now as far as where it resides in its high time frame structure? There are not many. It's pretty much just Bitcoin, BNB, and Solana as far as the assets that are consolidating as close to range highs as those. So I mean I would be remiss if I took my eye off of BNB just because it wasn't supposed to return, that many multiples. We don't know that. We don't know that. If there's a huge bull run that comes out of Asia for crypto, what does that mean for BNB?
I mean, here's BNB ETH, Tommy. What do you think about this chart?
I think it's going to break out. That's what I think.
So you think maybe a little bit of this, and then just boom?
Maybe. I mean, it might be. You might get a big candle up sooner than later, and then consolidate, and then you go like for the big extension. But I don't know. I mean, I'm really just bullish on BNB. Beyond just the fact that CZ is getting out of prison, and that to me is kind of like a layup. From a pair trade standpoint, why wouldn't BNB outperform Solana with CZ coming out of prison?
I mean, it's a good point. Jackus, what do you think about this chart? BNB ETH?
I'm having a hard time here. It's I think it essentially heads higher, but I'm not sure if it doesn't first go lower.
Like, are you looking
at
at something like this, Jackus? Like down here?
Yeah, possibly.
So
I'm a
like,
BNB holder though, so
so breakout, Jeet the low. I should have just redrawn this. Like this.
yeah, something like that is totally possible.
Because there's like, I mean, this is a pretty clear level right here, you know?
I think this rather points to a fact that not that BNB isn't bullish, but maybe it's ETH that's gonna pump from here.
ETH is just so undervalued right now. So distraught. Like, I mean, man, like, look at, like, okay. This is just a bruised and battered chart here. But when you get back above this level right here, you're going straight to all-time highs. Like, when you get back above this level, you're going to do this and you're just going to go vertical. Like, that is guarantee. You are not going to chill out. You're going to go so much higher. You're
Bring
going to
it.
go so much higher, straight up. Like, it's not even a question. It's just, you might reject it like 3,300 or something. Like, this is a pretty obvious rejection spot. I feel like that's a pretty obvious level. But I have so much confidence that, like, when you get back above, inside this range, above this high right here, and these lows, like, you're going to do this. See you later. And additionally, Q4 is really great. Q4 is really great for ETH. Q4 and Q1. But it could be interesting to hit like a BNB USDT to ETH USD. Like, it could be really interesting to hit. So, like, let's just say ETH pumped, right? And ETH went back to like 3,500. And then you saw because like this will get retraced. Like, this is just like straight up. I don't know if it does a fake breakout first, but like if it came back down into here and it was because both were moving up, but ETH was moving up more, that could be a really nice rotation from ETH into BNB for like an actual breakout, right? If it did that, that could be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we saw that exact same pattern on Bitcoin in the wee hours of this morning, actually. If you go to like the 5-minute time frame
Oh my gosh.
on
No.
Bitcoin,
Oh
sorry,
my gosh.
I'm autistic.
He's got a little tism. All right.
Like right there, that basically the price action from that, yeah, it kind of looks like it a little bit. In the sense that we're basically a
Are you
little bit
talking like
further.
56K,
this?
boys.
Yeah.
56K, boys.
Jackus, you must not have seen that the Fed's about to cut rates, though, and we're about to have a 4-year recession. Did you not know that that was going to happen? Or
As I said, I still have so much to learn from these guys.
Jackus, biggest bull trap I've ever seen, but they won't trap me. Do you understand?
Hey, what is Capo doing these days?
Hopefully
Both
nothing.
those.
Hopefully not talking about crypto, man. I can't. I need the price to go up. All right.
I actually think someone mentioned that he started to de-risk now. Can
Good.
someone
That's
confirm?
fantastic
No way.
news. That's great news.
That's
This
incredible.
actually looks really good, though, guys. Like, this little pattern looks really good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I like that a lot. But we still have like, we need to get back up in here, like we were talking about. Like, this is a good start, right? Like, we're back up in here. We flipped this daily level. That's really like a good strong start. And I think you probably see 60K soon, but like, you need to get back up into 60K, because this is your range right here. You need reacceptance back into value, not just, locally holding here, but like, that's a good start. It's a really good start. And I think that we will, because I choose optimism, because optimists make a lot more money than pessimists. It's tough to be
But don't buy optimism. Don't buy optimism.
No, but don't buy that. Don't buy that. But like, this is your big scenario. Like, we'll do this maybe, something like this. And then you'll be like right here at 60.7. And then it's like, that was it. That was it. It was written in the stars. It's over. And then we need to get back up into here. It was written in the stars. It's over. Jackus was right. That's what we need right here.
Call word.
I mean, I like this, man. All right. Well, guys, I feel like we cooked today. We'll probably call it here. So, Tommy, do us a solid, man. Take us out.
I will take us out, guys. You all did a fantastic job hitting the like button today. We are at 297 likes as we come into the end of the show. If we could pump that up to 300, and that is really not asking you guys a lot. If we can pump that up to 300, my OCD would be very happy. And thank you for that. But regardless, guys, before we wrap up, a few things. A reminder that we have launched our official SEC registered hedge fund, BB Wealth Management, and a reminder that that is primarily focused on digital assets in a way that looks to capture their asymmetric history for upside returns while also managing the investment risk posed in any financial market. So becoming an LP or an accredited investor is something that interests you. You're interested in having the Because Bitcoin team potentially manage some of your capital. Just reach out to us via email. Like I said, it is linked in the description below this video. We will get back to you as quickly as we possibly can. But of course, we also have the BB Academy, guys. And as I will tell you on every single show, you all have given us some phenomenal feedback on it thus far. Truly, it is invaluable to be able to learn from so many different traders with so many different styles, right? You want to learn a bit more about how I approach the markets, how Max approached the markets, Jackus, Will, Tucker. Fear not, the BB Academy is the perfect place to do that. And having such stylistic differences, I think is really an invaluable aspect about the BB Academy, and being able to really hone that educational skill set or reach trading mastery as a result. Of course, we also have the BB Terminal, guys. We launched that to the Discord last week. Sounds like they are enjoying it thus far. We are continuing to work and make it the best product on the market. Public release, though, Max, that's this week, right?
So it's actually live today. Like, it's live on our website right now. I wanted to just do one. Ed said it's 100% good to go. And I said while we were on Market Check, I was like, send me a video of it working. I want to confirm people can actually get onboarded perfectly. I wanted to do it myself. I'm kind of a touch it, feel it kind of guy. But it's on the site, It's heavily discounted and it's on our website. I was going to wait until tomorrow, but it's there technically. So if you want to try it out, it's epic.
Make sure to test that out, guys. It is an awesome product. I've already been using it pretty much every single day. So could not recommend it more. It can be a lot of things for you, right? I mean, there's a lot of data aggregated on the platform, a lot of useful, obviously data, but also just general market information that I think you can use to potentially better your trading. So make sure to check that out when you have the chance. We are super excited to finally bring that product to the market to you guys. And of course, like I said, we are working to make it the best possible product on the entire market. Of course, guys, we also have another episode of Market Check tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you enjoyed the show today, make sure to tune in for our lovely casting crew throughout the week. We do a lot of stuff on these shows, right? We have a lot of fun more than anything, but we talk a lot of charts, we talk markets, we have some heated and spirited debates. But above all, we very much enjoy making this content and these shows for you guys. Of course, we also have Wabi's show as well, which is Market Talk. Make sure to tune in for the Because Bitcoin Twitter account. That's where we host, I keep saying Twitter. It's x.com now. I'm still not used to that. But we host those shows daily. So make sure to stay following and subscribe to our x.com account so that you can be notified, not just when we schedule those spaces, but also when Wabi goes live. And he does a great job on those shows. So make sure to tune in for that as well. But that's it from us, guys. I hope you all had a great start to your week. Hopefully we could be a a little bit of stimmy here to start your week, give you some much needed energy, motivation on this lovely Monday. But until tomorrow, guys, thanks again. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and as always, stay safe.